UK Prime Minister Liz Truss has broken a silence held since her government unveiled a so-called mini-budget that contributed to market turmoil. She's given a series of BBC local radio interviews defending her decision to cut taxes and increase borrowing. She says her tax cuts and energy support plan will get the economy moving and help deal with inflation. She says the government is working closely now with the Bank of England. On Wednesday, the bank had to intervene in the economy to avoid pension funds going under, saying that there was a material risk to stability. Opposition leaders are demanding Liz Truss recalls Parliament over the crisis. For more on this, our correspondent Alex Isett reports.
The financial market in turmoil and many wondering what will happen to their money, the Prime Minister Liz Truss seems quite relaxed on the whole thing. Speaking to the BBC, Truss insisted she had the right plan to repair Britain's economy for the long term, which include those massive cutting of taxes and increasing borrowing by billions. But she did clarify that conditions would not improve overnight. Now, her comments come after a week in which the pound slumped to its lowest in a decade against the dollar. Mortgage costs and their availability slumped, and the Bank of England was forced to pump in around £45 billion into the bond market to protect millions of pensions, with real fears that the Bank of England will raise interest rates even further. A number of lenders have pulled hundreds of mortgage products, and there is a rumour that we will see a house price crash on the horizon. Although for those with mortgages who've borrowed way above their means, this situation is a nightmare, with costs quickly rising and many mortgage deals taken off the market. But there are many who welcome a house price crash, as for decades the cost of a property has gone above affordability. Yet the whispers are that this halt to house prices that we will see will only be temporary, and that they will continue on the upward trajectory, which will only benefit those who can afford it, and possibly even more overseas buyers, making it impossible for some to get on the housing market in their lifetime. For now, it seems everybody is spooked, including members of the Tory party, who are questioning the timing of these cuts and whether Truss and her cabinet are right for the job. But despite this, Downing Street and the Treasury remain defiant, saying there is no prospect of change in the approach. This is Alex Isett for WION. World is One.
Well, Jonathan Liss from the think tank British Influence joins me live now. Jonathan, what did you make of those interviews from Liz Truss? No sign I could detect that she's backing away from her economic plans.
That's right. This was a simple doubling down of her ideology, really, her game playing, you might say. Normally, when you're a politician and you try something and it fails, you reverse course. Liz Truss is not like that. She is determined to see this through. Even though all the lights are flashing red on the dashboard, she's carrying on pulling those levers, which could leave Britain in a much worse crisis.
Jonathan, why do you think markets were so spooked, given that Liz Truss had been signalling exactly this type of economic programme throughout her leadership campaign?
Because the markets seem to think, and I think it's justifiable, that the government had no idea what it was doing. First of all, that it was privileging tax cuts for the richest, which the IMF pointed out in their extraordinary statement about it. Second of all, that the government was effectively committing to permanent borrowing for day-to-day spending to fund those tax cuts. And I suppose that the Bank of England and the government are moving in different directions. The government is trying to accelerate the economy, adding to inflation when inflation is already 10%, whereas the Bank of England is raising interest rates to try and break the economy, put a brake on it rather than break it. And so they're moving in different directions. And the government, the markets, can see that no one really has a handle on the British economy, least of all the government, which is kind of playing ideological games, completely divorced from reality. And that's why, if the market sense panic, they are going to panic as well. And they're going to sort of take fright and leave and take sterling out with them. And that seems to be what's happening.
And Jonathan, just picking up on that idea of yours that normally politicians would U-turn if their plans were received like this. How can Liz Truss do that, given the damage it would do to her authority? And as I say, the fact that she's been trailing exactly this type of plan for so long now, would it not be a blow to her credibility that would be almost impossible to recover from?
She's now in a lose-lose situation because, as you say, if she U-turns, then she'll completely destroy her authority and her party will get rid of her. But if she carries on with this course, sort of ploughing the Titanic straight into the iceberg, then the pound is going to plunge further, interest rates are going to soar higher, mortgage repayments are going to add several £100s a month, and it's homeowners who are one of the Tories' biggest voter bases, and her party will still get rid of her. So it seems very unlikely that Liz Truss can regain her authority or stem the poll losses which the Tories are currently facing.